Before we begin, I want you to take a moment. Think of the last time you explained yourself to someone who didn't want to understand you, someone who had already made up their mind about you. How did it feel? Draining, frustrating, almost like shouting truth into an echo chamber. You tried to prove your intentions. You tried to make them see the good in your heart. But the more you spoke, the more they twisted your words. That is the moment you must recognize you are giving clearance to delusional people. You are handing over your inner peace to minds that thrive on confusion. And this is where the true practice begins. The practice of stillness in misunderstanding. The art of silence when you know your truth. Because the ones who truly see you never require an explanation. So today, I invite you to listen not just with your ears, but with the part of you that is tired of justifying your peace. This is not a speech about arrogance. It is a reminder of power, the quiet power that comes when you no longer explain yourself to those who cannot hear truth. Energy is the invisible currency of your life. You spend it every time you think, every time you speak, every time you emotionally engage with someone. Most people do not realize this until they are drained, confused, and wondering why their peace feels so expensive. The truth is simple: energy, once given, cannot easily be returned. And every moment you waste explaining yourself to people who refuse to listen, you are making a transaction that gives away your most valuable resource. When you try to convince someone who is not ready to understand, you pay a price in attention. Your focus shifts from creation to defense. You move from inner alignment to outer argument. It feels like you are doing something right because explaining seems noble, because communication seems necessary. But beneath that effort lies exhaustion. You spend hours clarifying what was never misunderstood. You try to offer logic to those whose intention was never to seek clarity. And slowly your energy starts to leak. Imagine holding a cup of water. Every time you explain yourself unnecessarily, another small hole appears at the bottom of that cup. At first it seems harmless. You believe you can refill it quickly. But over time you realize that no amount of refilling can compensate for a constant leak. That is how emotional and mental energy works. It drains silently through small, repetitive acts of justification. The more you grow, the more you must learn the discipline of preservation. Not every misunderstanding deserves your correction. Not every accusation deserves your explanation. There is wisdom in silence and restraint. When you stop engaging with delusional people, those who twist truth to fit their confusion, you stop giving them access to your inner wealth. You begin to realize that energy management is self-respect in motion. When you are aware of your own worth, you no longer chase to be understood. You speak your truth once clearly, calmly, and with integrity. After that, you let silence do the rest. Silence, when rooted in self-knowledge, becomes the strongest boundary. It tells others, my peace is not up for negotiation. And that simple understanding saves you countless moments of wasted explanation. There is a kind of freedom that comes when you no longer feel the need to spend your energy proving who you are. You start to value quiet mornings, simple thoughts, and meaningful conversations. You begin to recognize who drains you and who nourishes you. Every human interaction becomes an energetic exchange. Some lift you, some leave you heavy. Awareness allows you to choose which ones are worth the cost. Energy is also the language of intention. When you speak with purpose, your words carry weight. When you explain out of insecurity, they lose their power. So the question becomes, do you speak to express your truth, or do you speak to earn approval? One gives energy, the other steals it. The more you live consciously, the more you notice that the world is full of noise. People defending, arguing, proving, correcting. In that noise, presence becomes rare. The rare person is the one who knows when to speak and when to remain still. Preserving energy does not mean closing your heart. It means opening it only where it will be received. You can still be kind, compassionate, and patient without letting everyone access your emotional space. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters that protect the sacred. Your mind is sacred. Your attention is sacred. Your peace is sacred. Spend them wisely. When you begin to treat energy as currency, you live with new awareness. You spend it only where it multiplies. On learning, creating, helping, and growing. You no longer feel the urge to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you, because you understand that their confusion is part of their path, not yours. You walk forward lighter, calmer, and wealthier in spirit. Energy is your life force. Every day you are making choices about how you spend it. Choose to invest in peace. Choose to save it from the chaos of delusion. Because what you protect today becomes the strength you carry tomorrow. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of clarity. It is the space where truth exists without the need for noise. Most people mistake silence for weakness because they cannot understand the power that comes from restraint. They believe that every accusation needs an answer, every misunderstanding needs correction, every attack deserves defense. But the wiser you become, the more you realize that not everything needs your voice. Sometimes your silence speaks more truth than 1,000 words ever could. When you stay silent in the face of noise, you are not surrendering, you are conserving energy, protecting peace, and allowing reality to reveal itself. The truth does not need to shout, it simply waits. And in that waiting, illusions collapse by themselves. Those who speak without wisdom eventually contradict their own words. But those who stay silent remain grounded in the strength of their awareness. Silence allows truth to do its work without interference. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? If your intention is peace, then silence often serves you better than speech. Because when you explain to someone who refuses to listen, you step into their chaos. You start to play their game. A game built not on understanding but on ego. The more you engage, the more you lose yourself in their noise. Silence, instead, keeps you centered. It reminds you that you are not here to win arguments, but to master peace. There is great dignity in silence. It comes from knowing who you are so deeply that you no longer feel the need to prove it. You understand that your value does not increase when others approve of you, and it does not decrease when they reject you. Silence becomes your shield. It is a quiet declaration that says I will not waste my truth on ears that cannot hear. It is not about pride. It is about alignment. You align with peace instead of drama. In silence, you start to hear things differently. You begin to sense the intentions behind words, the emotions behind actions. You develop the kind of awareness that only stillness can offer. When everyone is speaking, you are listening, not to reply, but to understand. That is how wisdom grows. True strength does not react instantly. It observes. It sees beyond the surface. It knows that time reveals what arguments cannot. Silence also teaches humility. It reminds you that not every battle needs to be fought, not every opinion needs to be shared. Some truths can only be lived, not spoken. When you embody what you believe, people feel it, whether you say a word or not. This is the kind of presence that transforms others without trying to persuade them. Your calm becomes contagious. Your peace becomes a mirror that reflects what others are missing in themselves. But silence is not easy. It requires emotional discipline. The ego wants to speak, to defend, to prove. It craves recognition. The heart, however, seeks peace. And so silence becomes a practice, a training of the spirit to choose peace over pride, awareness over impulse. Every time you hold your tongue when anger rises, you are strengthening your inner mastery. Every time you choose to remain still in the face of provocation, you are teaching your mind that peace is more valuable than winning. Silence is not passive. It is active awareness. It is the ability to feel everything and still choose calm. It is the space between stimulus and response where freedom lives. In that space, you can choose how to act, how to think, and how to preserve your energy. That is real power. The power to remain unaffected while everything around you tries to pull you into reaction. When you finally understand the strength of silence, your life begins to change. You stop arguing with people who enjoy misunderstanding you. You stop explaining yourself to minds closed by ego. You realize that your peace is your greatest response. And in that realization, you step into a new kind of freedom. The freedom of not needing to be understood, the freedom of not chasing validation, the freedom of being fully at ease with who you are. Silence is not emptiness, it is full of wisdom. It is the sacred ground where understanding grows and truth reveals itself. The next time you feel the urge to defend your peace, remember this: silence is not your weakness, it is your greatest strength. Boundaries are not walls built to keep people out. They are gates that protect what is sacred within. They are invisible lines that say, this is where I end and this is where you begin. To live without boundaries is to live without self-respect. Because when you allow everyone to walk freely through your emotional space, you begin to lose touch with who you are. You forget that your time, your attention, and your peace are not things to be given without thought. They are sacred parts of your life's energy. Self-respect begins with the recognition that not everyone deserves equal access to you. Some will understand your silence. Others will take advantage of it. Some will honor your kindness. Others will drain it. Boundaries are not about judging who is good or bad. They are about discerning who brings harmony and who brings noise. When you create clear boundaries, you are not being cold, you are being conscious. You are deciding to live in a way that protects your peace rather than constantly repairing it. Many people believe that being loving means being endlessly available. But love without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you constantly say yes to others at the cost of your own peace, you are saying no to your own well-being. True compassion includes yourself. It recognizes that caring for others is only sustainable when you also care for your own energy. Boundaries are how love becomes balanced, strong, steady, and real. Setting boundaries is not always comfortable. It often comes with guilt, especially if you have been conditioned to please others. People may call you distant or selfish. But in truth, they are reacting to the loss of control they once had over your openness. Do not let that reaction shake your peace. Boundaries are not rejection, they are protection. You are not pushing people away, you are making space for mutual respect to grow. Those who truly value you will never feel threatened by your boundaries. They will feel safe within them. When you begin to respect yourself enough to say no where necessary, your energy shifts. You no longer explain every decision, you no longer justify every silence. You start to live with quiet confidence. The approval you once sought from others becomes less important than the peace you now protect. You realize that you do not owe your energy to everyone who demands it. Your time and attention are investments, and every investment should be made with awareness. Boundaries are also mirrors. They reflect the relationship you have with yourself. Weak boundaries often reveal inner uncertainty. When you doubt your own worth, you tolerate what does not align with you. But when you see your own value clearly, you naturally create space between what nourishes you and what depletes you. You stop explaining yourself to people who twist your truth. You stop giving your clearance to those who thrive in confusion. Boundaries become the language through which self-respect speaks. To live with boundaries is to understand that peace is not found by pleasing everyone. It is found by standing firmly within yourself. It means recognizing that you are not responsible for managing other people's emotions or opinions. You are responsible only for the energy you bring into each moment. When you know this, you stop apologizing for protecting your space. You stop feeling guilty for choosing distance from those who disturb your calm. The beauty of boundaries is that they do not limit love, they strengthen it. When you protect your energy, you bring more clarity into your relationships. You stop operating from resentment or exhaustion, and you start giving from fullness. The right people will appreciate the depth of your self-respect, because it allows them to feel safe, valued, and trusted in return. Respect is contagious when you honor your limits. You silently invite others to honor theirs. Boundaries are not about control, they are about clarity. They are a gentle but firm reminder to yourself and to the world: my peace is valuable, my time is sacred, my energy is not for waste. When you embody that truth, your presence becomes stronger, calmer, and more radiant. You no longer seek validation from those who cannot see you clearly. You no longer feel the need to explain your limits. Your life becomes simpler, quieter, and far more powerful. Boundaries are self-respect in motion. They are the quiet practice of protecting your soul while walking in a noisy world. And when you honor them, you finally realize that peace was never something to be found outside. It was always something to be protected within. Detachment is not about walking away from the world. It is about walking away from the illusions that keep you bound. It is not the absence of love, emotion, or care. It is the presence of clarity. Detachment means to engage fully with life without allowing the noise of life to disturb your inner stillness. It is the art of being in the world yet not consumed by it. The more you practice detachment, the more you begin to taste real freedom, the kind that no external condition can take away. Most people misunderstand detachment. They think it means indifference, coldness, or emotional distance. But true detachment is not heartless. It is full of awareness. It is to love deeply without possession, to care sincerely without control, to give without expectation, and to let go without resentment. It is to understand that everything in life is temporary: people, emotions, moments, and even thoughts. When you accept this, you stop clinging to what must naturally pass. In that acceptance, suffering begins to fade. Attachment creates fear. The fear of losing what you have or not getting what you want becomes a silent prison. You start living in anxiety, trying to hold on to things that were never meant to be permanent. But when you detach, you release the need to control outcomes. You begin to trust the natural flow of life. You realize that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, and what leaves you was never yours to keep. That understanding brings peace deeper than any success or validation ever could. Detachment also changes the way you relate to people. When you are attached, you try to mold others to fit your expectations. You react when they disappoint you, you suffer when they leave, and you lose balance when they change. But when you detach, you allow people to be who they are. You stop demanding that they fulfill your idea of them. You start to love with freedom, not fear. You give space for others to grow, even if it means growing away from you. That is mature love, the kind that does not imprison but liberates. To live with detachment is to live with trust. You trust the process of life. You stop forcing answers and start allowing clarity to arise naturally. You no longer chase after explanations or seek closure from those who are incapable of giving it. You begin to understand that closure is not something others give you, it is something you create within yourself. When you detach from the need to be understood or validated, you return to your center, calm, steady, and self-contained. Detachment also brings power, because the one who cannot be emotionally manipulated is free. When you no longer react to every opinion, every rumor, every act of misunderstanding, you take back control of your mind. You learn to observe without absorbing. You hear words, but you do not let them settle in your spirit. You see actions, but you do not let them disturb your peace. You recognize that your response is always your choice, and in that choice lies your strength. True detachment is not something you force, it grows from awareness. The more you understand yourself, the less you need to control others. The more you see life as constant movement, the less you resist change. You begin to walk lightly, love freely, and let go easily. You no longer grip life with tension, you hold it gently, knowing that everything flows as it must. Freedom is not found in gaining more, it is found in needing less. When you detach, you stop depending on external things for happiness. You realize that peace is not given, it is remembered. It was always within you, covered only by layers of fear and attachment. The moment you stop clinging, you rediscover it. Detachment is the bridge between peace and power. It allows you to live fully, love deeply, and still remain centered. You can engage with life, feel its intensity, and yet remain untouched at your core. That is the essence of true freedom, to be in the storm, yet never lose your stillness.